What's up, guys? Welcome back to Media Plus Podcast. We're here with the OGs of the podcast ministry, which is
Emmy.
and
Noé.
and we have a new segment which is part of Media Plus, but it's something separated, which is called the Grub. So the reason you see this stuff in front of us is because we're gonna be eating and talking more comfortable, more relaxed, you could say. And we have our Starbucks. What'd you get, Noe?
What did I get? I got a venti iced chai tea latte.
I got a caramel ribbon crunch. Uh, yeah, that's frappe. That's what it's called. What you get?
An iced white mocha.
And then we have, I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure it's just the New Mexico thing, but we got burritos from Blake's. It's breakfast burrito, so it's like eggs, sausage, bacon, hash browns, and then it's like smothered in red chili.
Well, his is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't want to pay $2 extra. What'd you get?
Just a bacon burrito, breakfast bacon burrito with green chili.
And he got seasoned fries too.
They were eating them.
There's none in here. What'd you get?
I got a number one green.
All right. So the podcast, they don't know what it's about. I'm barely telling them right now, as well as you guys. So you guys are all gonna find out at the same time. But I believe that in the youth, we see this a lot, and it's a little bit of controversy because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. What do you think we're gonna talk about today?
Something that works, but something that doesn't.
But sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes it works for some people, but it doesn't work for others.
I don't know.
Guess, just take a wild guess.
Music?
Okay, that's a good guess.
I don't know. I have no clue.
So we're gonna talk about relationships. Those that think. How can I put it in words? So you know how Monse wasn't Christian,
Yeah.
but we dated and she was Christian.
Oh yeah.
Now
yeah.
she's Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. So what do you want to put in of the topic?
Relationships. I mean,
Like, do you think it's acceptable for a Christian to date a non-Christian?
Well, I've seen a lot of videos like that.
Of
it
people
says
dating?
No. about about this topic, and it said it goes to the verse where it says no te juntes con el yugo desigual,
Yeah.
and yeah, they use that as an example about relationships.
Do you think it works though?
It may not.
Or what do you think about the people that do it and it works?
well, good for them.
Yeah,
Good for
if
them.
you do it and it works, good for them. Maybe it was God's plan to attract that person to God, and maybe their family too. But if it's risky. You could say it's risky, because sometimes the other person takes you away from church.
Yeah, I think it's something you just have to pray about and like really be patient to see what God says, because it could be either the best thing that happened to you or the worst thing that could ever happen to you. In my experience, my wife now is Christian, but before we got married, she was I can't say a Jehovah Witness because she never went to their church, but her parents were a Jehovah Witness, and all their family are Jehovah Witness. She just didn't really wasn't really into it, and towards getting married, it was because I asked for a confirmation from God, and he provided that confirmation, like just as I talked to him about it. So the confirmation for me, the first thing I told God is, I want a woman that I could go to church with and not take me apart from church, because I was barely coming back to church. I was coming back to church because I wasn't really a church person either, but I was slowly getting there. And I told him that I wanted a Christian girl, and she wasn't Christian. So it was like um it was kind of contradicting what I was asking God to do, but I told God if this is really the relationship you want me to be, I want her to get in a relationship with Christ without me telling her anything. So like the people that come to church to make their spouse happy, but they don't really want to be here, or the people that just come to church just to not argue with their spouse. That's not what I wanted. I wanted her to get closer to God without me telling her anything. And literally a week after that, she asked me to bring her to church without me telling her anything. And I never really told her about church or anything because I didn't want to like push it on her. But that was one confirmation that it was her. And Mayra as well. Mayra was dating Ruben before he was Christian, and it worked out. Now he's Christian, he serves, but I guess it's a risk that you have to really be patient to see if God, how can you say it, God approves of it. So what do you think about the people that do it but they're not patient?
Oh, I don't know.
Or have you done it, way? Oh.
Oh, I've definitely been with girls that are out of church, pero right now, Dios me bendigo, me bendició con una que viene. Pero, alright, guys, alright. But I seen that with my mom and my stepdad. My stepdad was, well, I can't say he's Christian because he kind of just comes to make my mom happy, you know. But but he's definitely changed. He asked my mom to pray now for like situations, and he comes to church more voluntarily on Sundays, and it's not.
That means he knows God
Yeah,
and he believes in him. But
you just gotta wait.
yeah, patience.
You gotta wait to let God do what He's gonna do in that person.
Alright, guys, we'll go on a commercial break and we'll be back in a bit.
Let us eat real quick.
You guys thought we don't have commercials.
Oh, he told us ahorita we're gonna take breaks.
I said like eating breaks, like we're gonna eat and talk and stuff.
He pranked me too, guys.
We also have new merch for those that are local in New Mexico that come to our church. We have new merch. We have a Mateo 28:20. You want to look it up, Noe? You're fucking screen. Mateo 28:20. And then the back, I forgot what it says, but what does it say, Noe? Oh, you can't even see it.
Fall for Jesus, He never leaves.
There you go.
What was it, Mateo? What?
28:20.
Then we have a USA one. I think.
Noe didn't buy one, so he has a United States of America one.
Land of the free. It says, enseñándoles que guarden todas las cosas que os he mandado. Y he aquí yo estoy con vosotros todos los días, hasta el fin del mundo. Amén.
That's why he says he never leaves. And it's fall. And leaves come down, but he doesn't. Oh. Sabias, una sabia.
Una sabia.
And then we have
Cristiano todoterreno. Romanos 8:35 al 39.
And the pastor just preached about this last week too, so they made it their shirt. Romanos 8:35 al 39.
It says, ¿quién nos separará del amor de Cristo? Tribulación o angustia o persecución o hambre o desnudez o peligro o espada. Como está escrito, por causa de ti somos muertos todo el tiempo. Somos contados como ovejas de matadero. Antes en todas estas cosas somos más que vencedores por medio de aquel que nos amó. Por lo cual estoy seguro de que ni la muerte, ni la vida, ni ángeles, ni principados, ni
Potestades.
ni lo presente, ni lo porvenir, ni lo alto, ni lo profundo, ni ninguna otra cosa creada nos podrá separar del amor de Dios en Cristo Jesús, Señor nuestro.
Amen. Does it say anything in the back?
No.
Oh no, it's nothing. So that's our first topic. Our first topic was relationships. So what?
My mic was off.
No way. The whole time?
That's just what I was reading the verse.
Oh.
So no, it has to read all over again. Tell me what you want to say.
I think. Oh, I got ads.
Oh, there you go. Never
Alright.
mind. Never mind.
You guys can look up the
So
verse.
So
Sorry.
Noah's mic was off the whole time. But my verse is Matthew 28:20. Go ahead and look it up. And Emmy's shirt's text is Romanos 8:35 al 39. So what can you what can you conclude about our topic? Our first topic, because we have two more topics to go.
Just pray about it. If you happen to be in that situation, just pray about it. And if you see yourself lacking, if you find yourself like losing that interest of God, then it's not good. You're doing something wrong.
Amen. What can you conclude about our first topic?
Yeah, just pray to God and be patient and let God do his thing with the person.
I keep trying to talk to you, Noah. You keep eating. Okay, so our second topic, friendships. And you're in high school, so and we know your friends, Noah. Just kidding. Just kidding. But I want to start this one off with the Bible scripture that's in Proverbs 13:20. It says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." What do you think about the verse?
Well, yeah, it's like the saying, you are
Who
who
you
you
eat."
hang out with. Like, tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are. You know?
What do you think about the Bible verse?
Say it again.
Walk with the wise. Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm.
Yeah, just what he said. You
Great opinions.
or if you like when they say that you want to be rich, hang out with the people with that mentality.
Yeah.
And same thing with Christians. You want to be sabio, you want to be into God, hang out with the people that are into God, and that's going to help you a lot.
What do you think about the people that drive people away from church? Like, have you ever seen people that are like metidos in church, but they're friends with like people that like bring them down, and then they separate from God?
Yeah, well, that's happened to me.
Who was your friend?
Their name was. No.
How did they give an example of how like they turned
How it
off?
happened.
Yeah, how they turned off that spark for God.
Well, they just tell you, like, why do you go to church so much? Like, you only need to go one day. 'Cause, you know, their reasoning. And then peer pressure. It's a lot of things. They just influence you a lot.
And they get you in trouble.
A lot of trouble.
What do you think, Emmy?
But what?
Like, have you ever gone through a situation where like the people that you hang out with bring you down from like from God or like getting closer to God?
Not really. Like people I hang out with, they knew I went to church. They knew, like they would sometimes they would invite me, but they say, "Oh no, wait, you have church that day." I mean, they already knew I had church, and yeah,
Or
The-
like in my or you can say
that it changes the way they talk to you also. Like, um, I would see that they would like mess around with other kids, like, kind of like
Rough play.
Yeah, rough play. Yeah, but with me, they never did that.
Then we would just beat them up.
I remember we came back from a retiro, and some guy asked us like, "How was the retiro? What you guys learn about?" And we came back like all hyped up and like ansiosos for like to receive more here and keep growing on what we received over there. But when that guy asked us what we learned, we told him like what we learned, and he like contradicted everything we learned, and it just like shut most of the holiness down, and even one of them that we never thought would get close to God came to church, and then he ended up leaving. But even adults could shut off the youth sometimes too, and I mean I know that what we learned was right, but it like just like how can you say like triggers something in you,
Yeah.
Has an adult ever done that to you?
No, not really. I Well, the only adults I talk to are you guys and my parents.
I'm 19, no.
Grown adult, grown adult. But yeah. Well, the only people I talk to are my mom, and well, she always encourages church and God.
Yeah. And how do you think we could help out in encouraging others? Cause I I like talking about God, but at the same time, it's like nerve wracking. Like when you feel like to talk up to someone, it's right, but once you're there, like you just start like getting nervous. Your words start to get like
Yeah, yeah.
traladas. Yeah. So how do you think it's a good way to motivate someone in a good way?
I don't know. Like, don't try and push it like down their throats. Like, God is this, God is that. Like, slowly like, start talking to them. Don't like give them a whole service right away.
Yeah.
Or don't send them to hell right away.
Yeah, don't condemn them.
Condemn. Yeah, don't condemn. It's not cool, guys.
Don't do that. Don't tell people they're going to hell.
What's a good way to motivate your friends to do better?
Be an example, and then once they'll notice your difference, the difference from other people, and then there's gonna be times where they're gonna be down, and then they can ask you for advice,
Yeah.
and then that's when you could talk to them about God, and about the Word, and invite them to church, and all that.
So, our last topic to end the last 10 minutes.
A ver, a ver.
Oh, this one's scary. This one's
Ooh.
We're gonna talk about a struggle a lot of youth go through in their youth years.
Very young.
When they're young. So we're gonna talk about pornography.
Oh, that's a heavy
Oh,
topic.
hallelujah. So what do you
Santo.
think about the demonic, how can you say, demonic spirit of pornography?
Well, it has the whole youth in a chokehold.
And I was gonna look up the statistics I found last time, but our Wi-Fi is down, guys. But what can you give out from the topic?
Well, pornography, very bad, very bad. But I don't know. I mean, help me out.
It's well, first of all, we all know it's wrong. Even people out in the world know it's wrong. Like it brings you down. Like um, it's a spirit. It's not. It's a spirit that also brings. I don't know. How can you say it? It just brings you down, 'cause then you start getting addicted to it, and that's all you're doing. That's what is in your mind every day, and it doesn't let you be productive. Not in your in the worldly life, like work, or spiritual, menos.
Yeah. So, in my take of it, and in our generation, we see a lot of people that see it as something normal, and even doctors and scientists are trying to like twist it and say that it's good for your mind or that it's like
Trying to justify it.
yeah, they're trying to justify it, but according to scripture, it's something we should be fleeing away from. And like not only does it, like Emmy said, it messes up your way of thinking. Like there's people that can't get away from it. There's people that that's all they do, and mostly with youth, it's like messing with their minds and messing with their relationships as well. Cause a lot of relationships
Yeah.
have been broken because of that. So, First Corinthians 6 verse 18 says, "Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body." So not only are you sinning against God, but you're disrespecting your own body. I thought it was pretty strong. So First Corinthians 6:18 again, it says, "Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside of the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body." What do you think about that verse, Noah?
That you're not only sinning against God, but you're sinning against yourself.
Yeah, he just says the verse.
Phrased
I was trying to
it.
comprehend. I don't know.
It's a tough subject, yeah. Like it's something that not most churches talk about, and I've never seen a lot of churches talk about it. But at the same time, I think that's the reason why our youth is like a lot, a large part of our youth are lost in it for the same reasons that church doesn't talk about it.
Yeah, it definitely should be talked
Like
more
if we
about.
talked about these subjects more often, I don't think our generation would be as confused. You know? What do you think about it?
Um, it's true. The that confuses you, that spirit, and like the devil's always gonna try to put things in your mind. Even if you're with God, he's always gonna want to be putting stuff in your mind. In this case, pornography, and if you let that get to you, if you let the desires of your flesh take over, and it's gonna ruin you. It's gonna it's gonna ruin your spiritual life and maybe even your worldly life. And all we gotta do is pray whenever you have those mentalities that the devil wants to bring onto you. You have to be ready, like the word says. Um, uh, ora y what is it?
Is it like the
Um,
orar para no caer en
yeah,
tentación?
something like that.
We have Google right here. Let's find it, no?
Velad y
Velar.
orar.
There
Yeah,
you
velad y
go.
orar para que no entres en tentación. So whenever you velad, which is just
Velar.
be attentive.
Glad, guys.
Like stay awake.
Yeah,
Don't fall asleep.
yeah, be awake, be praying, and whenever that temptation comes, whenever that enemy comes, you'll be ready to to um to be able to shut down the enemy, shut down those thoughts, and keep walking. And
Man.
yeah,
So just to conclude the topic, is First Peter 2 chapter 11 says, "Dear friends, oh no, wrong one. 2 Timothy 2:22.
Second Timothy.
Yeah.
2
it's
Timothy.
2 Timothy 2:22. It says, "Flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord out of pure heart." Man. So the verse of the day to conclude the podcast. You want to read the verse of the day, Noe?
What's the verse of the day?
I don't know. What is it?
What is the verse of the day?
Wait, put the brightness up.
6.
Yeah.
1 John.
Jamaican.
Yeah.
1 John 2:6. Whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way in which he walked.
Amen. So if you call yourself Christian, walk in the same path God walked. It's hard. For adults, it's hard. For youth, are hard. For kids that are barely knowing, I'm pretty sure it's pretty hard for them to see how kids live differently than others. But if you call yourself Christian, walk the same path God walked. Even though it's hard, just keep pursuing, just keep fighting against whatever the world throws at you. You want to conclude on with the verse?
With the verse?
Yeah, like what do you have to
Oh.
say about it? What are you
I
doing?
thought you said you wanted me to pull up a verse.
Oh no.
Yeah, just follow God's path, and you'll be all right.
What's one thing that God did that we should do?
I don't know. What did God do?
Yeah. Did a lot of stuff, no way.
Yeah, it's hard. That's why he did a lot.
Ah, well, no things. What's one thing that God did that we should do?
He talked to God every day.
Why didn't you think of that, Noe? That was a good one. So prayer, constant prayer, that's a good one. We see that God spent a lot of time in prayer, even when before he went through the crucifixion. We see that he went to talk to God, even though it hurt him as a human. He said, "Do as you please." But
Yeah.
that's something we should learn about him. Did you think about something?
Fasting. That's the only thing I
Oh, so we have to 40-day fast, no? Damn. And then we have burritos in front of us, no?
Shit, no. Throw this out.
So fasting and prayer, there's two that go hand by hand. So that's a good one. So this is the broke the couch.
This couch sucks.
This is the grub. It's a short podcast, short video for you guys, and we hope you guys keep going in depth about the subjects we talked about. And we're gonna be back with the normal podcast. This is just one time a month, towards the end of the month. So God bless you guys, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.